Okay, but let's start. So hello everyone, I'm Pilla and I work as a product manager at E-Residency, and I'm very happy to start our E-Residency Webinar Marathon that lasts from November, from today. Actually, this is the first webinar from the Webinar Marathon series, and they last until the end of December. And I'm very happy to welcome here Wissem and Arzu. They are founding members of e-Ricam. I will let them explain shortly what is e-Ricam. And they are both e-residents who have started their companies with e-residency. And they're going to introduce themselves, and later you will have the chance to ask questions from them. So the next slide. Okay, so maybe Arzu, you can start by introducing yourself.
Hello, I'm from Turkey, Istanbul. I have a walking tour company. It's called Walks in Europe. It's an OU, a limited company established in Estonia through e-residency. We are enjoying our third year and growing fast in Europe. We operate in 16 different cities. We only offer guided walking tours, and we do through e-residency. I'm in Tallinn in the winters and in Istanbul in the summers. Yeah.
Okay. So how long have you been an e-resident?
Oh, it will be 3 years now, yes.
Okay.
I'm one of the earlier ones.
Okay, and did you start your Estonian company as soon as you became an e-resident?
Oh yes, even earlier, because I couldn't wait until I go to the embassy and get my card. Mm-hmm. So when I heard about it, even before registering for e-residency, I just jumped on a plane and came to Tallinn.
Okay.
to establish the company, open the bank account.
Okay, yeah, but can you explain a little more closely why did you choose Estonia for your company?
We were a small walking tour company in Istanbul. Mm-hmm. I was looking for ways to expand the business because it was a working business model. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to do in other cities as well. So I want to do in Athens, I want to do Amsterdam, Florence, Rome. So mm-hmm. I needed a company that could operate within the EU. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And Turkey was outside the EU, so I was searching how I can do this. Some other options ended up being either very expensive or you can't do without a proper payment to the company. Mm-hmm. So I searched many options, and back then e-residency came up. I just saw their website and it was the best method to establish a company. It's cheap, you only pay a government fee. I think it's 100 euros at the moment. Yes, and then establishing the company is also very affordable for an entrepreneur who really doesn't have enough money for all of this. You don't need to put in the shared capital as soon as you establish, so you can do it in later. So this is, for me, was ideal. A small entrepreneur who wants to run a business in Europe but who doesn't have a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And it worked very easily. My experience with e-residency has been very positive since then.
That's good to hear. And you really like Estonia as well? Do I know correctly that you are even learning Estonian?
I do, but it is a difficult language. I need to spend more time, but now the good thing is business is growing. I'm also working on a startup. Mm-hmm. So we're going to carry this classical business model to digital. Mm-hmm. I'm working with 3 other e-residents. Mm-hmm. So I'm very busy with the classical running of a tourism company and then guide now with the app digital. Mm-hmm. I don't really have like every day 1 hour sit down and study Estonian, although I want to. Mm-hmm. But I didn't give up. So yes, I'm on it.
That's great to hear. Thank you, Arzu. Okay, Wissem, can you talk a little more about yourself as well?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Arzu. Thank you, Pila, for this meeting. For my story is I make a residency about 4 years ago.
Okay.
And I listen. I have a friend that told me about e-residency in about coffee. And I am working in e-commerce in Tunisia, in Africa, since 20 years ago, and I have many problems about payment, about marketplace, about PayPal, about European company, because here in Tunisia or North Africa, we have many problems, such how to get Stripe, such to have European company. And when I listen to the e-residency, in the first time, I am shocked. What does mean e-residency? I talk about 4 years ago, but okay, I tell, okay, I will try, I will test it. And I discover another word. I discover many things about e-residency. I also visit Tallinn to understand more what about e-residency. And since 4 years is a magical story. I opened my own company with European e-commerce. Because I have in Tunisia with European, I have with e-commerce in Tunisia, and I open with European e-commerce, and there is such a matrix, you know, the film Matrix is something that I don't expect. And after I make a course, I make ebook in English, in French, I make Udemy course, and it's very, very interesting thing and very solution for North Africa, for Venezuela, for Mexico, for Brazil, and many people can get a solution with the residency. For this, I am enthusiast of residency, and I every month and every year I discover many solutions.
Okay, good. May I ask what kind of merchandise, what kind of goods do you trade in your e-commerce business? What are you selling?
Okay. I am teacher here in Tunisia in high school of university. I like Udemy for training, video conference, ebook, and all digital things like video and like courses. And also handicraft. I have handicraft, handmade from Tunisia. I have virtual product and I have handicraft products. I have two things.
So for you, e-residency was a good solution because of the payment solution and the ease of doing business. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. Is all solution about e-payment that we can find in many countries, and we find in country like Estonia. Yes, exactly.
Okay, so you two are both one of the founders of Erika. Can you both talk a little bit closer about what is Erika and then what is the goal of Erika?
Okay. Erika was founded about passion about few e-residents that discover this e-residency, but something we have problem with banking, we have problem with connection with gateway payment, we have a problem with virtual office. Sometimes not very good virtual office. Then we say, okay, we will make a chamber of e-residents, and this chamber will spread the e-residency in the world, and we will try to make like a team to find the best solution for e-residency. This founded from Christoph and Kriel and Arzu and 9 people to try to make a connection between e-resident for us and e-resident in all the world.
Arzu, would you like to add something?
Yes, the first phase, establishing a company, is really very easy. It's online, it's affordable, and it starts running. What happens is once you have the business running, you need more support. How am I going to run this business now? And it even gets a little bit more complicated when you start making money. Because then you will need accounting, you will need banking systems, payment gateway. Which ones are you going to use? And if you use this one, what happens to my taxes? How am I going to pay that? How am I going to, maybe you want to make investments. There are many different questions that people need support. It may be an accountant, it may be language, or you may be looking for someone like in our startup to work with. So we thought, oh, we have access to all of these e-residents. There's so many people all around the world who are willing to work online. Maybe we can create a platform when everybody gets to know each other, and we can have a marketplace. It will also be a place where you can ask all these questions. How much are you paying for your accountant? Did you do the yearly report this year? What about the VAT? So that's what we thought. It's an association for every e-resident to help them run their business easier, to reach and make more connections. It's a very easy membership. Mm-hmm. And I do recommend that you become the member and be active on the platform. It's only €5 for a year. It's symbolic because it's a non-profit organization. And it's only there to support e-residents, really. Mm-hmm. There are 9 founders. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you are looking people to join Erika who are e-residents and who already have their own companies. Is that correct?
They don't have to have their own companies yet. Maybe they are looking ways to establish the company. Mm-hmm. Being an e-resident is enough.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How many members do you have at the moment?
Well, I really don't know. Do you know, Wissem? I think around 500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, I think about 400 or about 450. Yes.
Yeah. The idea came to us at Latitude 59 back in May, because there were already so many people coming in for e-residency. And now we're planning to do a festival next year for all these people who are already in Tallinn for Latitude. During the event, during Latitude, we can do a festival for all the e-residents to join and share the joy.
That's great. So this festival will take place in Tallinn, Estonia as well,
Tallinn,
right?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds really
We
great.
have support from the city too, Tallinn city.
Oh,
that's good. Yeah.
That's good. Okay, let's maybe see if anyone has asked any questions in the meantime as well. Everyone can write their questions to Q&A, and let me check the chat. No, not yet. But if anyone has any questions to Wissem and Arzu, you're most welcome to write us. Yes, here's a question for Arzu. How did you manage to open an Estonian bank account? Did you need an Estonian visa to come to Estonia and open your bank account?
Of course. One of the things that people confuse is they think being an e-resident is a visa or a travel document. It is not. It's not a visa to travel. Estonia is a Schengen country. So if you're outside the Schengen zone, it's the normal procedure. You will still need to apply to the nearest Estonian embassy or the contact point to get your Schengen visa, and then travel to Estonia. At the time, for me, of course, I'm a travel. I have a travel company. I traveled to Europe many times. I always had a Schengen visa, so I never had a problem. And I just traveled to Tallinn. Earlier, then it was easier opening a bank account. But I knew that it would be similar to a business interview. So I was very ready when I went to Swedbank. I had my contacts in Tallinn because I was already running tours in Tallinn with my guides. I had business, I ran tours. Tallinn was a city that we were operating on the website. I had contacts with the hotels already. So I was already operating a business in Tallinn, and then going to the bank and showing all these and opening the bank account was easy.
Yes, Estonia. You're a foreigner and want to open up a bank account in Estonia. So Arzu had that advantage already.
I think at the moment the best option, if I were to apply it now, I would not try to get a bank account. You don't need it. There are so many good fintech solutions you can use.
Absolutely. We have few of them listed on our webpage. There are many on the market. For example, there is TransferWise, which is
exactly
around the world. So I'm sure that everyone can find a solution for that.
Yeah, we are also using TransferWise to transfer money. Okay. Yeah, it's very reliable and quite affordable fees. Yeah, but I want to also tell people that don't think this is a travel document. You won't have residency in the Schengen zone. It doesn't have a photo. So all what you had to do then still you have to do. Still you need to get a travel visa to come to Estonia.
Yes, e-residency card is basically like a key, like an access to Estonian e-services. This is the only place where you can use e-residency card.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. What I always tell people is Estonia has a system called the X-Road, where all the digital services are there, like health, schooling, whatever, that you have to connect with the government. But only one side of it is open for people who want to do business. You have access to the business side of the X-Road. That's all. And you just run a business, a travel. Also, another easy thing that I use to tell people is you create someone. It's not you, it's totally someone else. It's your company. He is resident in Estonia. You are not. So that's very different.
Yeah, thank you. Wissem, did you wanted to ask? Yeah.
Yes. Because I can add something about banking in Estonia to make the difference. Arzu, and you talk about TransferWise, and TransferWise is very good company, and that offer bank account in euro, in dollar, in pound, and just when we have our e-residency card, and after we open our business, we open our company, and after we can, with TransferWise or with Paysera, open a bank account with fintech, like you said. But the question that many people ask, like I read now, that how to open bank account in Estonia. For example, for me, I'm living now in Tunisia, but I have account bank in Estonia with Al-Hajvi.
Okay.
Al-Hajvi and Sweden Bank, there is two banks that you can make apply on internet, and they can see your application on internet. If we accept you, you should go to Estonia just to make the meeting with your office manager or banking manager. This is the difference that many confusion in people. We can open with TransferWise or Paysera or many fintech without going to Estonia. But until now, because the banking in Estonia not offer now your customer remotely, then if some people who have their company want to open Estonian bank with IBAN Estonian, they shall travel and go to Estonia. Maybe last year Estonian bank made now your customer remotely, but for the moment there is two solutions. You can make your bank account remotely from your residency home in Africa, in Europe, in America, in Australia. But if you need to get a bank account from Estonian bank, from classical Estonian bank, you should make the travel.
Yes, to open up a bank account in a traditional bank in Estonia, then you have to come to Estonia. They don't open bank accounts remotely. But if this is really something that you as an e-resident would like to pursue, then we highly recommend contacting a business service provider beforehand, because many virtual office service providers already have existing contacts with different banks, and they can do the KYC, and that they might help to simplify the process. So I definitely don't make any plans to travel to Estonia before talking to a business service provider or before receiving a very concrete reply from the bank that yes, you can have a bank account in a traditional bank in Estonia. So yeah, be careful doing that. Okay, but we have a question about Tunisia. For Tunisian startups, how much time does it take to get a residency? I presume e-residency. And how much does it cost? Is there an annual subscription or a monthly? And is it a commission based?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, from my experience, I assisted about 100 Tunisian to get the residency. Personally, I assist 100, and for residency, and making about 4 weeks to get approval from residency, and another weeks to for example, for me, I get the residency from France. Another 1 week to get the residency card from embassy. There is about for us Tunisian, we have the nearest embassy in France, we have in Italy, we have in Ankara, there is in Egypt. Is about 4 or 5 weeks to get e-residency, and it costs just 100 one times, or just one times, and the card is valid for 5 years.
Yes, the pickup location list is limited. You can see the pickup location list on our website. And the time from submitting the application until receiving your e-residency card takes around 1 month to 2 months. So that depends. The state fee is at the moment 100 euros, but from the beginning of next year, it will be 120 euros. So there will be a little rise in Estonian state fees. Okay, there is a question about Stripe. Arzu and Wissem, are either of you using Stripe?
I do.
Okay, so this is a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anyone, do you know if an e-resident can open online business only with Stripe?
I am not very sure about Stripe requirements at the moment. I do use Stripe indirectly.
Mm-hmm.
On my website, there's a software called Fair Harbor.
Okay.
It's through Booking Holdings, and we use Fair Harbor. Our clients use Fair Harbor to book a tour on our website. Mm-hmm. They pay with their credit card. Mm-hmm. The payment is done through Stripe. Mm-hmm. From Fair Harbor to us.
Okay.
But this was only possible because we had a bank account number from TransferWise, which is a German.
Okay.
That starts with DE bank account, and we are using that bank account to deposit the funds, and then it's possible. So in our case, it was possible. So I cannot know what these people want to use Stripe for. And maybe Wissem knows it better, but there are a few specifications how you can use Stripe in Estonia.
But
I think at least one of the founders of the company should be a resident, I think.
Yes, exactly, because according to my knowledge, Stripe is dependent on the user's location. So
exactly.
You cannot use Stripe when you are located in the country which is supported by Stripe.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand the way you use it, the client still can use it whenever they are, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So in our case, it's working. So it may be different with other business models.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Wissem, did you want to add something?
Yes. Because when people talk about Stripe or people talk about PayPal, because there is now in Stripe in PayPal is famous, like a star. Stripe is PayPal. Mm-hmm. But for my experience, I used Moli because I am resident in Tunisia, and Moli accept Estonian company and accept resident from Africa or from America. But as you say, today Stripe only accept Estonian company with resident in 34 countries. Mm-hmm. If you are from France, if you are from Italy, if you are from Estonia, and you have Estonian company, Stripe accept you. But if you are from Africa, from Oceania, maybe Stripe not accept you. That's as you said.
Yeah,
for the moment.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, so next question is about Erika, and actually we already talked about it. So someone's asking if they are already an e-resident, but they don't have a company yet, then does Erika give support and advice how to open business? You do, right?
Yes, Erika accept a resident without company. Yes, to answer. Yes, we accept. We are all about a resident in the world. If you are resident, is okay.
So maybe one thing to clarify is that Erika is not a service. We are not Erika is not a service provider. It won't help you, or it won't give you a contact address, for example. It won't give you the contact person. To run an Estonian company through e-residency, you need to use a service provider for two main reasons. One is the address that you need, and then the second one is the Estonian contact person. These two you cannot get from Erica. We are not a service provider.
I think Erica, can I say that Erica is more like a networking platform?
Yes, it's a networking platform, and it's also for people to get to know each other and help people how to run businesses, but that's all. But there is no service provided by Erica.
Yeah, I think you can ask like a general advice from Erica, but not
exactly
like a consultation or a tax consultation or something.
No, not at all, not at all.
Yeah. Okay. So here's a question about accounting. Someone's asking, when do they need an accountant? I think in several countries in the world, when you start a company, then you have to have an accountant right away legally by a law. But the Estonian companies, they don't need an accountant, but we highly recommend an accountant for annual reports. What's your experience with this?
Yes. You don't, by law, you don't, as far as I know, you don't have to, it's not an obligation. You are free to do it yourself online. But running a company, you will need an accountant to tell you what to do. From basic questions like, is my taxi receipt an expense? To how am I going to do my VAT? And it's also very complicated to differentiate between your private income where you live in your own country and then the company's money where it's a resident in Estonia. If you think you can tackle this on your own, you can, but having an accountant do this for you is very affordable. It will give you a peace of mind. You don't have to think about this. Someone who is experienced is doing it for you. And if you have any questions, you can always go back to the accountant. But yeah, you're free. There are many free softwares that you can use. Maybe you do 3 transactions in a year. Yes, then of course. But running a company monthly, yes, I think you should get an accountant.
I agree. Wissem, do you use an accountant?
Yes, I have the thing that I have a content. My virtual office offer me virtual office, person of contact, and offer me this service. And what we recommend after opening a business account and company, we should contact our virtual office to advise us for accountant. Is the recommendation, because it's very difficult to make accountant in theory, like Arzu said. Yes, the government of Estonian tell you is not mandatory, but to making business, we should have some advice from our virtual office.
Exactly, yeah, and if you really want to do accounting on yourself, then it takes, I think, a lot of time that you could use for developing and
exactly.
So yeah, it might be not that reasonable.
I think it's the number one thing that you is to outsource.
I agree. Okay, someone is asking if it's possible to use a bank account from EU authorized bank that is not listed in e-residency service providers. Yes, of course. We have listed a selection on our marketplace, but I think everyone can find something suitable for themselves outside from the marketplace as well. Definitely, it's not an exhaustive list on our marketplace. Here's a question about, I think it's to both of you, Arzu and Wissem. It's about double taxation. So someone is asking how you manage double taxation. Do you have to pay tax additional to the tax in your home country? To what do you pay in Estonia already? Or does the double taxation agreement protect you to avoid the double taxation?
Okay, for my case in Estonia and many African countries, there is no convention between Estonia and Tunisia or Estonia and Morocco. We should pay tax for company corporate in Estonia when we make benefit. If we decide to make the benefit, because as you know, in Estonia there is two things: you can let the money and pay zero, or you can take benefit and pay 20% of this benefit.
Yes.
And also,
you take dividends, then you pay tax, right? Yeah.
Exactly, but when you pay dividend, if you are from Algeria or Morocco, Tunisia, you should pay your tax in your country because you are resident in your country, but you are not resident in Estonia.
Okay, Arzu, how do you manage taxation for your company?
I still don't get benefits from my company, so I haven't studied this chapter yet.
Okay.
But I think what is most beneficial is there is no corporate tax. So until, like, I have a very small business, until it's running and you can get some dividends from it, you're not paying any taxes. As long as the money stays in the company, it's there, which is wonderful for a beginner entrepreneur.
Yeah, the corporate taxation in Estonia is a little different than most of the countries. It's not quite accurate to say that we don't have any corporate tax, but you have to pay corporate tax only when you take out profits from the company. For example, if you pay your self-director's fee or if you take out dividends. These are the exceptions when you have to pay corporate tax in Estonia. Okay, so someone is asking, what kind of companies may we establish? Do we have a right to establish a company like a movie, photography, videography? And is it easier to run the business and have residence permit in Estonia or EU after becoming an e-resident? So is this something you two want to comment, or?
I think you should go there.
Okay. So pretty much you can establish any kind of company which complies with Estonian legislation. You can do movie companies or photography companies, that's totally fine. I can't say if it's easier to run a company if you're in Estonia, because Estonian company started by an e-resident, an Estonian company started by Estonian, they're completely equal. We use the same tools. We use our ID card to run our companies online exactly the same way as an e-resident does. But as an e-resident, having a company in Estonia, it doesn't make any changes. It doesn't make any difference if you want to move to Estonia. If you want to move and become an Estonian actual resident, then there are different legal procedures and you have to go through the immigration procedures. So e-residency will not change that at all.
That's correct.
Someone is asking advice about which is a good service provider if they want to register a company in Estonia. Who did you use for your virtual office services?
At the beginning, I used Incorporate. I'm not really sure if they're still doing it. Again, depending on your business model, you should choose. There's enough companies listed on the marketplace. Some of them will serve a certain way of doing business, like Zolo. They're not operating for e-residents anymore. But you have to check the service provider and find the correct one for your own business. You have to study a bit, like the company that I'm running, travel company, not everyone accepts it because it's a regulated industry.
And you need a license as well, is
yes, you need a license to run it,
Okay. Wissem, which kind of virtual office service provider do you use?
It's very, very important to choose the best virtual office. Why I say this? Because 3 years ago, I have bad experience from I don't to make the name about virtual office, and now this virtual office is now recommended from government of Estonia. And now I have, as such, I said I have make an ebook and video, and I am talking about my virtual office because it's very best, is honest, he's asked very thing, because sometimes we can find cheapest virtual office, but service not good. And sometimes we can get, like Arzu said, a very good virtual office with a good price. We showed, because all business will be with your virtual office. You are not in Estonia, you are from Tunisia, Morocco, Algeria, Mexico, Brazil, and you should be careful about which virtual office, because half of business will be at travers this virtual office. Now I am using Digital Estonia, and I recommend it. I think also use the same, and very good company. And for this, you should very be careful before choosing, and still go to the official site of e-government of Estonia, e-residency team, and learn about 10 company, and after you have the right to choose, but not to go directly to the Google and choose like this without any recommendation.
Yeah, you have to work, do your homework a bit at home. You have to work a bit.
Yes, because every service provider, they have like specific industries they like to work with, and so on, specific regions. So everyone has to do a little homework and research to choose the right service provider for themselves. Okay, so someone is asking if, in addition to bank account for their company, do they still need a personal bank account in Estonia as well? But no. Does either of you have a personal account in Estonia as well?
I don't think they need it.
Yeah, they don't need. Definitely don't need.
And they can use TransferWise.
Yeah.
To transfer money, and it's very affordable.
Someone is asking about the basic steps to register a company in Estonia. This is a quite a general topic which we kind of have already covered here. So the first thing you need is to look for the virtual office service provider we talked about. And after you have found a suitable one for yourself, then you are ready to register your own company if you are already an e-resident. If you don't have e-residency yet, then you should start by applying for e-residency. Then look for a service provider, for virtual office service provider, and then you can register a company. After that, the bank account, and so on. I think this was the general procedure for you guys as well.
Yeah.
Another question about taxation. If the company is not doing a business yet, do they still need to file tax reports? Do you know how?
Does it mean annual report?
Yes, I think annual. They ask monthly or annually.
Yeah. As far as I know, even if you are not doing business, you need to do an annual report. But again, I'm not an expert on this, but I think so.
Yeah, for all the taxation questions, we recommend asking advice from a tax advisor
or your accountant.
Yeah, exactly.
There may be a good blog on this on the e-residency website.
Yes, our blog posts and our knowledge base, they cover quite thoroughly the taxation topic, so everyone can find good resources there as well. Someone's asking about corporate tax rate in Estonia, and it's 20, not 22. And now director's fee. Does either of you pay a director's fee for yourself? Can you comment about the taxation for? No? Okay. Do you know anything about starting a non-profit as an e-resident?
Erica is one.
Yeah.
And it has 9 founders. It's not easy.
Is the 9 founders, is it also like a regulation in Estonia that you have to have 9 founders for a non-profit?
No. We just had nine people.
But it's not easy. Why is it not easy?
Do you remember? Okay, yeah, Wissem, you were following more. Maybe you have more comments there.
Yes. Okay, what we suggest before, when we have a company, the best easy way is to make a limited company hosting in Estonia, like we have work in Europe and with European e-commerce. But about a non-profit company, there is many problem when we are about to open a bank account to get payment getaway. It's not like limited company. It's more difficult They're the limited company when we talk about money, when we talk about getaway of payment. For this, Arzu said, is not easy things. It's more complicated for
But we still use the service provider.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Need the virtual address and contact person. The requirement.
Yes. Yes.
And our advantage was we were all e-residents already. So when we had the official documents, everyone was able to sign digitally. Although 9 of these founders, they're all around the place, all around the planet actually. Everyone signed digitally. We didn't have to travel to Estonia. We didn't have to go to a notary. It was all done by us, by a service provider, and it's one of the sponsors. They are called Silva Hunt.
Yes, Silva Hunt.
And they've done the incorporation for us.
Yeah, the most recommended form of business for e-residency is a private limited company, because this is the simplest form of business, I think, and also it requires the least amount of initial investment to start business. So yeah, most e-residents start a private limited company through e-residency. Okay, Arzu, here's a question for you. What kind of license do you need to have a travel company in Estonia?
Estonia has as part of the law, it's called the Estonian Travel Act. If you're interested in opening a travel company, I strongly suggest that you Google this Estonia Travel Act and read this thing. In a place nicely ventilated with good aircon, and it is very hard. It is a hard read.
It's a legal text, right? Yeah.
It is a legal text, but as I say, you have to do your homework. If you sit down, focus, and read it, it has a lot of information for everyone who wants to run a travel business. Travel companies are regulated, and there are many classifications, starting from the hardest interaction with the client to the lowest. Hardest, what I mean, is a company who sells a package that includes a hotel and flight tickets. Then one step down, a company who sells flight tickets but doesn't do hotels. But so it's with every of this going, leaving this plan, you're getting lower, less responsibility. So what I mean is the company should have insurance or a security fee if he is selling travel packages. Because what that means is you have sent someone to a faraway country on a plane to stay in a hotel. Something happened to your company in the meantime. How are these people going to come back? It may sound easy, but remember Thomas Cook? They just went bankrupt. And all the Thomas Cook clients all around the planet were brought back to their home using that security fee at the bank. It's an insurance, and the government will use that money so that people will be sent back home. So all these classifications will go down. Like in my example, my company is doing 3 or 4 hour walking tours. It's the one at the very bottom of the pyramid. It's called a service that's lower than 24 hours for people who are already at a destination. They bought their own flight ticket, they have their own hotel. I didn't have their money. They're already in a destination and they want to do a walking tour. So I don't need a security fee and I don't need an insurance. But then again, ask your service provider or your accountant if you are going to need a travel license. If this Travel Act covers a lot, so read it and then you will know, and your service provider will tell you if you need a license or not, and they will get the license for you.
How long did it take for you to apply for this license?
It doesn't take long.
Okay.
It's only a few days. You can do it yourself. Once you have the e-residency card, you can log in and you have access to all the business atmosphere. You can apply and get your license yourself.
Is it expensive to apply for one?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
The normal license, I don't think it costs any money. I can't remember, but the security fee and insurance is something else. If you're selling hotel and airplane tickets, then you should find a insurance company, Allianz, for example, and deposit some money in the bank. And it starts from 13,000 euro, and it goes up, giving the service. And it's not a money you can use. It's not like your shared capital. That's a fee, that's a deposit you have to keep in the bank to operate.
Okay.
In case your business goes out, you go out of business. So that money will be used for your clients. But read the Travel Act, and it's very, very detailed.
Okay. Wissem, do you need a license? Does your company need a license to operate?
No, for IT and e-commerce company, there is no license. For training company, such Arzu said, and such you said also, I think that there is a few company in Estonia that need the company like gambling, like tourism, like travel, like medical. Just a few statutes that need a license. But for e-commerce, for web, there is no need to any agreement.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna take a look at the questions in the chat quickly. It seems like everyone who wrote to chat wrote to Q&A as well. So there's a quite long question to Wissem, but it's in French. So unfortunately, I can't read it. Wissem, can you access the Q&A?
Sorry?
Can you access Q&A from your location?
You can. At the bottom of the page, can you see the Q&A, Wissem?
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
There's
okay.
Quite in the end, there's a question written in France.
Okay, I will see. Okay, yeah. I will try to see. Just to confirm this. Is from which person the question? From which?
It's Abel Hamid. It's if you scroll down to the bottom, it's the third last.
Third last to the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm resident.
Can you find it?
No, I third list for me is in English from the bottom.
Can you see one question in French?
I confirm we have Estonian. It's possible. What about? Have you paid registration? Does the table? I have question. Have managed. I am Harish from India. Arzu. Okay, so no, I don't see. All in English for me. I don't know why. All in English.
Okay, Arzu, you can't see it either?
No, I can't. Oh, yes, I do. Abdulhamid Boutemur.
Yes, it's quite in the bottom. So
yeah, you can see it.
In the bottom.
Go a bit more. Go a bit more.
Okay. Can you retype question? Can you retype question, Arzu, or make a copy paste for me?
Let me see if I can do it.
Okay.
How am I going to do it? Chat.
Okay.
I'm going to. I put it on chat. Let me see if you can see it now.
Okay. I think that. Ok. Désolé d'écrire en français. Vous dites qu'il faut payer les taxes ou impôts dans le pays de résidence. Par exemple, la Tunisie. Est-ce que cela veut dire que tu déclares ton entreprise en Tunisie? Si c'est le cas, comment faire? Okay. I will translate.
Yes.
Okay. He asked about tax corporate and about how to pay tax in our residency of country. Okay. For yes, such I said for Tunisian or for Algeria or for Morocco, when you have a company in outboard our residence country, when you get benefit, you should declare this, make a declaration, annual declaration in Tunisia about your benefit after making the dividend. Yes, the question, the answer is yes. You should declare this. You should declare this in your country of residence. Of course, after benefit, after annual report, like Arzu said, and after dividend and after benefit.
Okay, great. Thank you, Wissem. But I think this is pretty much it. Thank you both, Arzu and Wissem. It was really nice chatting with you. And to all of our listeners, if you're interested, then I highly recommend joining the Erika network to talk and interact with all the other great e-residents who have started their business. And if you are interested, then we have 2 more webinars with Erika members. They are coming up at the end of November and at the beginning of December. Just take a look at our webinar schedule on our homepage. But thank you, everyone, and have a great November.
Thank you a lot. Thank you a lot. Thank you, Pili. Thank you. Bye-bye. And thank you a lot.
Thank you, Wissem.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay.